look a get. So.
Oh,
very well done.
Thank you so much for being with us. It's great to have your company as always. See you next time on The Chase Australia.
Tonight, a father in mourning, his little girl's body pulled from a dam during a long weekend camping trip. Juvenile joyrides, a 10-year-old among 7 youths arrested after 2 separate chases. Gone too soon, devastating tributes for Hannah Clark and her 3 children. More coronavirus clinics open in Adelaide as billions in values wiped off the share market. And 14,000 racegoers flocked to Morfordville, but the Adelaide Cup's taken by a Victorian raider.
7 News with Jane Doyle.
Good evening. The devastated father of an 18-month-old girl who drowned on a family camping trip in the southeast has told of the harrowing moment he realised she was missing. He says in the blink of an eye she wandered off at a popular holiday park and slipped into a dam.
Little Amaya Nawar, active, inquisitive, to her parents, she was perfect.
Amaya was our cutest daughter. She has given us a lot of times to cherish. And we just lost her.
Here she is yesterday morning, playing at the Coonawarra Bush Holiday Park. Moments later, while her parents were packing the car for a day trip to Mount Gambier, she quietly wandered off.
I just realised, where is Amaya? I couldn't see her. I got anxious and I asked, did you see Amaya and all that? So
Abu and his wife frantically searched their tent and the park, but couldn't find her.
So one of my friends then, because he just clicked that, okay, there is a dangerous pond over there. He just ran there and found my daughter, floating in the water.
His friend performed CPR until an off-duty paramedic took over. Amaya was rushed to the Narracott Hospital.
The doctor came here and my wife shouted, "Did you come here to say us that she's no more?" And doctor just said yes. And that was the hardest word we have ever heard.
It was a last-minute decision to join a group of friends from Adelaide on a weekend away. They arrived on Saturday night, straight away noticing the dam, unfenced, just 40 metres from their tent.
We were talking about the dam and we said, look, this is really dangerous. It was like a trap.
The park's manager insists the dam is perfectly legal because it's designed for fishing, not swimming, and therefore doesn't require a fence. Abu Huda says if it is compliant, regulations need to be changed immediately to prevent another tragedy like this.
One fence could save my daughter's life.
The manager says he'll consider installing one, too late for Amaya and her broken family.
The hardest thing I have ever seen.
Mark Mooney, 7 News.
7 children, one just 10 years old, are behind bars tonight following 2 separate police pursuits. Both dramatic incidents involved stolen vehicles, with the theft of one caught on camera.
It's the moment a family sedan becomes the vehicle for a juvenile joyride. 2 figures are seen approaching the Hyundai at Redwood Park, one setting off the car alarm as he unlocks the door. This footage shows kids appearing to case the home minutes earlier before breaking in and stealing the keys. Police say 5 children are the culprits.
Sorry, I don't understand it. I really don't. Parents have a responsibility, adults have a responsibility to look after our young people.
Soon after making their escape, the stolen car was seen speeding along Main North Road at Elizabeth East. Some passengers were let out at Para Hills before the joyride finally came to an end at Ingle Farm.
The cars were really very fast. They just smashed down the road.
We wondered what had happened, and as we looked out our bedroom window, there was a car up on the curbway.
Patrols and 2 police dogs, with help from the police helicopter, managed to round up and arrest all 5 of the children shortly after. They include the alleged driver, a 17-year-old boy, and passengers aged between 14 and just 10. But this wasn't the only chase involving children. A girl and boy, both aged 15, were arrested after a pursuit on the southeastern freeway. The stolen SUV was first spotted on Marion Road, Netley, then heading east on Anzac Highway onto South Terrace, Glen Osmond Road and the freeway. Road spikes were used at the Stirling exit, but the car continued on shredded tyres before it eventually stopped near the Mount Barker summit. All 7 children have been refused bail and are due to face court tomorrow. Elise Baker, 7 News.
Police have swarmed Morfettville Racecourse with drug dogs scouring the inside and RBTs surrounding the perimeter. Elspeth Hussey's on Anzac Highway. The results have been pleasantly surprising for officers there.
Oh, well, they were until just a few minutes ago, Jane, but a man has just been caught drink driving. He's tested positive. His reading was 0.131, so almost 3 times the legal limit. His car's been driven off by police officers and he's currently undergoing secondary testing in a van just over here. But until then, police had tested around 150 drivers and not one had returned a positive reading. There's also been no positive drug detection, so they had been fairly happy until then. You can see that they've just set up around the corner from Morfettville, so they're keeping an eye on racegoers as they head home, journey home after what's been a long day. It appears most did heed the warnings. They've either jumped on public transport or had a designated driver. But that's not to say that nobody has copped a fine here this afternoon. One man had 2 unrestrained children in the car. That's cost him close to $1,000. Another had his bumper bar sticking out the front passenger seat. That's also set him back a significant amount of money and some demerit points. They've also had radar guns set up around the perimeter enforcing a 40-kilometre event speed limit, and at least 3 drivers have got a serious dressing down from officers for disobeying the temporary 25k speed limit as they pull into the breatho. Let's take a listen.
Just driver testing today. Just take a deep breath, see he looks around the tube, blow gently through it until I say stop.
Now, drug detection dogs, as we say, have been inside Morfettville today doing a sweep of the ground. This RBT station is going to wrap up very shortly, but police have told us they are dotted all over the city and the country today. So their message is, don't think you can slip through the net. Back to you.
Thanks, Elle. 2 more specialist coronavirus clinics have opened in Adelaide's north and south to deal with the escalating threat. But authorities only want those who've recently returned from overseas with symptoms to turn up.
Every precaution's being taken to deal with the global scourge. This clinic opened its doors today at Flinders Medical Centre. Simultaneously, another was launched at Lyell McEwen in the north, joining one at the RAH. Either good luck or good management resulted in no new cases over the long weekend, but this simple plea: only attend if you've just returned from overseas, whichever country you visited, and you're feeling unwell.
There are many people, however, in our community that are also worried, but they're not sick and they haven't had any recent travel.
There's a new medical term doing the rounds, the worried well. It refers to those who are clogging the system but are of low or no risk.
Please, we are requesting that you don't come to these specific clinics because these are clinics for people who need to have testing done.
We've got excellent systems in place to help us screen for patients who may meet the criteria for testing.
Authorities want calm, but the Premier's in an awkward spot with a US trade mission at the end of the week. Does he run a health risk and a possible public relations fiasco, or does he cancel, perhaps with the perception of unnecessary alarm?
No cause for alarm or panic. We need to continue to go around our daily business.
And in other health news, pharmacists are now legally permitted to give flu shots to anyone from 10 to 16 years old. Mike Smithson, 7 News.
We've had panic buying in supermarkets, but today it was panic selling on the Australian Stock Exchange. $137 billion was wiped off in the week's first trading session. It's been our worst day since the global financial crisis.
Hit by a crushing double whammy: plunging oil prices and coronavirus, sending our market into a tailspin. Today, losing $137 billion.
So it's obviously very large losses and really reflects the fact that investors are very concerned about the outlook.
The Treasurer appealing for calm.
Well, market volatility in terms of equity markets is not uncommon at times like this.
But everywhere you looked was a sea of red. The ASX 200 fell off a cliff, closing at 57.60, down more than 7%. Its worst daily slump since the GFC, down 19% from last month's record high. Energy stocks like Santos shed 26%. Woodside dropped 17%. Today's shock was Saudi Arabia's disagreement with Russia over oil production cuts. The Saudis signalling a price war.
And media outlets are now reporting that they may be discounting prices by up to 20%.
Already, we're seeing petrol at $1.13.
After seeing what's happening overseas, there's a chance that we might even see further falls.
Not just energy stocks, miners like Rio Tinto and BHP were slammed. Banks too.
The twin impact of oil prices and the virus isn't just coincidence. Demand for energy has been falling as people cut back on world travel. And as coronavirus slows global economies, the fear is there'll be even less demand.
Asian markets also fell. All eyes now on the US. Wall Street opens again within hours, not looking good.
We as a firm aren't satisfied that the worst is yet behind us.
Gemma Acton, 7 News.
And Gemma joins us now from the Stock Exchange. Gemma, is there anything the average investor or super fund member can or should be doing?
Well, Jane, it can be really hard to hold your nerve at times like these, particularly for anybody who needs to access their super in the near term. But the general advice for the average super member is to make sure you're comfortable with the level of risk that you're holding. If you sell now, you will lock in any losses from the past few weeks. On the other hand, for any bargain hunters out there who are looking to buy some shares now that they're a lot cheaper, we could still see quite a lot of bumpiness ahead. Jane.
Thanks, Gemma. And on the latest with Michael Usher tonight, Australia's top medical minds will answer all of your coronavirus questions. Don't miss that special edition of the latest from 10 o'clock. 2 firefighters have been treated for smoke inhalation, with one of them taken to hospital after battling a large grass fire at Taringi this afternoon. It was sparked by a whippersnipper. The fire burned slowly away from nearby homes as water bombers were called in to control the blaze. A driver's managed to free himself after flipping his car on the Oban track. The 43-year-old took a wrong turn near the Modbury interchange just before midnight. His Hyundai travelled 500 metres before it slid into the centre pit and toppled onto its roof. The man was treated for minor injuries at the Royal Adelaide, where he underwent mandatory drug and alcohol testing. It took a crane 4 hours to remove the car from the track. An axe-wielding robber turned down a free pizza when he held up a northern suburbs Pizza Hut overnight. He demanded cash, but with none kept on the premises, the owner at the Paravista outlet offered to whip him up a takeaway. The bandit fled empty-handed. He's of African appearance and around 185 centimetres tall. Domestic violence victims Hannah Clark and her 3 children have been laid to rest in a single coffin after a heart-wrenching funeral in Brisbane. Hannah's brother wanted her remembered as one of the greatest mums to walk the earth.
You're everything I need and more.
A precious family of 4 and just one casket.
Baby, I can see your halo.
In life and now in death, together.
I'm surrounded by your embrace.
I only wish there was more time. We love and miss you all so much.
Hannah Clark and children Aaliyah, Leanna and Trey smiling onto a crowd of more than 1,000, a Prime Minister and Premier, police and rows of family and friends. A church full of some sadness, but overwhelmingly love.
We will grieve not, but rather find strength in what is left behind.
Like memories of cherished children, Aaliyah, 6.
You are everything a big sister should be. You are strong, smart, energetic, and quite bossy.
Leanna, 4.
You were beautiful, sweet, and caring, and had a crazy imagination.
And Trey, 3.
You're your mother's little man and her best surprise.
Among those to share memories, none would mention the day almost 3 weeks ago that brought everyone together today. The horror of an ex-partner and father killing those that he should have cared for.
I would have laid down my life for you. I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you.
Instead, choosing to remember the impact of the 4 lives, not how they were taken away.
Our lives are forever changed because of you, because of Aaliyah, because of Leanna, and because of Trey. A legacy of bravery and resilience, of strength, but most of all, a legacy of love.
Mum and Dad, Nini and Pa struggling to stay strong as the littlest mourners lay butterflies on the casket.
You are my sunshine.
Helping a mum and her children fly to a better place.
Love you, my girl, and your 3 beautiful angels forever.
Joel Dry, 7 News.
In the next few hours, the first criminal case over who shot down Malaysian Airlines MH17 will begin in a European courtroom. 4 suspects have been charged, and while they won't be at court, victims' families will.
This is the courtroom where 3 judges will determine if 4 men murdered nearly 300 people. A massive judicial complex next to Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport, where flight MH17 took off on July 17, 2014. Hit by a missile, it crashed in eastern Ukraine, a crime scene in a war zone. Among the dead, 38 Australians. 3 Russians and a Ukrainian, commanders in the Russian-backed rebel army that controlled eastern Ukraine, accused of using a Russian-made Buk missile to down the Boeing 777. For 5.5 years, detectives from 5 countries have pieced together the evidence, among them 500 officers from the Australian Federal Police.
Probably one of the most complex and challenging investigations that we've undertaken.
But it's unlikely the men will actually face court. Most believe they're being protected by Moscow.
Up till now, the Russians obstructed the investigation, or at least they didn't cooperate with the investigation.
Investigators laid a wreath at the memorial on a windswept corner of the Netherlands, where those lives cut short are remembered. There is an acknowledgement here. The search for justice will take a long time. The international partners, including Australia, have agreed to extend the formal investigation for at least another 12 months. In Amsterdam, Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
It's a race so rich in history it gets its own public holiday, and today's Adelaide Cup lived up to expectations. Thousands of eager racegoers flocked to Morphettville for the Cup's 150th running.
Some rocked up for the thrill of a flutter. Making a beeline for the bookies, they hedged their well-thought-out bets.
Why did you choose your horse? I like the colours and the number. It's my favourite number.
Danny O'Brien, Damien Lane, Lloyd Williams, ticks all the boxes.
While others frocked up, dressing to impress.
My dressmaker and my milliner helped me to put an outfit together that was age appropriate and pretty spectacular on the eye as well.
The day kicked off with high stakes at the fashions on the field, some even making their outfits from scratch. It was an op-shop bought suit that proved a hit for the winning gent.
Saw the suit and I knew it was the one, for sure.
While mother of 4, Melissa Barnes, took home the women's honours.
I was really shocked to win today. I wasn't expecting it. I got up and my kids were running around with my nail polish and it was a bit of a hectic morning.
And while some soaked up the sun, others soaked up the hospitality.
Skulls, 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 skulls. In perfect autumn weather, racegoers flocked through the gates here at Morphettville, cementing the Cup as the biggest day on the state's racing calendar.
By the time the main event rolled round, nearly 14,000 packed the course. And there was even a little something for those sticking around for the after party.
Sneakers, if you've had a few too many drinks or your feet are hurting, put some sneakers or thongs on.
Yes! Rosie Barnett, 7 News.
And live now to Amelia Mulcahy, and the party's still well and truly going, I guess, Amelia.
Jane, it certainly is. Despite the last race finishing a little over half an hour ago, there are still plenty here trackside, either celebrating or commiserating tonight, with an after-race concert set to get underway soon. There's been plenty of sunshine for racegoers here at Morphettville too, so it has been a warm one. Our top close to 26 degrees, and that's on the money, so to speak, for this time of year. Organisers say they've been thrilled with the conditions, especially considering the past 3 Cup days have been cool, around the 23-degree mark. Of course, it is cooling down here tonight. Not that many here really seem to notice at the moment, but we will hold on to those warmer days this week. I'll be back with a look at the 7-day forecast after sport, Jane.
Thanks, Amelia. Australia's triumphant women's cricket team is still celebrating too after claiming the T20 World Cup final at a packed MCG. The victory was the most watched women's sporting event in history, and they capped it off with a party with pop superstar Katy Perry.
A win big enough to spark a movement. Our cricketers on top of the world after a history-making 24 hours.
Last night was epic. It was amazing. This is a moment we'll look back on in 10 years. Were you there when, Australia won the World Cup in front of 86,000 people?
86,174 to be exact, as Australia triumphed in the most watched women's sporting event ever.
A magical moment in
in Australian sport has been achieved.
And the magic continued on stage with pop star Katy Perry post-match.
There's this photo of me hugging Katy Perry, and if anyone knows me, I don't hug many people, and I've just got sheer joy on my face.
The next chance at World Cup silverware for our Aussie girls will be next year in New Zealand for the 50-over World Cup, but for now, the celebrations will roll on. And maybe some bragging rights at home for player of the final, Elisa Healy. Who had a better World Cup final, you or the hubby Mitchell Stark?
They're used to having sort of 90,000 people, so for us to play in front of 87,000 people, I'm going to say not me personally, but I think we had a better World Cup experience.
Andrew McCormack, 7 News.
There'll no doubt be debate about that, but we'll give it to her at this stage, won't we, Soda?
Yeah, look, fantastic, wasn't it? How good was the celebration with Katy Perry?
Wonderful.
What a moment.
Now, what else have you got in sport?
Well, with the women flying high, our men have just got back from South Africa, and their series, well, they had a good winning T20 series, but a losing one-day series. Straight back into it, though, for the boys, because there's another 3 one-day internationals kicking off this Friday against New Zealand. And the Medicos at Alberton, well, with a bit of work on their hands, with both Charlie Dixon and Scott Lysett, just struggling a bit with round one not too far away, Jane. So that and plenty more coming up just shortly in sport.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Soda. Ahead on 7 News, owners of this northeastern suburbs home left devastated after being targeted by arsonists. Samurai swords produced during a frightening service station robbery. Teenaged girls on a wild ride see their dangerous attempt to escape police. Facebook sued the worrying claims our personal data isn't so personal. And a mother's surprise delivery in the hospital foyer.
A dish so elaborate, even the judges wouldn't attempt it.
I wouldn't have done it myself. Even if Pete and I were cooking together in the kitchen, I wouldn't have done that.
With the standard of food so high, will the dish be their crowning glory? Or will it send their entire team to elimination?
It's either gonna work or not. There's no in between.
New My Kitchen Rules, tonight 7:30 on 7.
This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. Like a titan that's rising.
The exhilaration you feel on the road comes from the limits we push on the track.
This is how legends are made.
Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Comfy is the new cool with soft touch denim for just $20. That's wow. That's best and less.
I was a registered nurse and had a back injury that ended my career, so it was a real effort to get up every morning. The pain was unrelenting. When I finally came across the arch supports at the Good Feet store, it's turned my life around. I have no pain in my back, in my hips, in my knees, ankles, heels and feet. I'm Robin and that's my Good Feet story.
See for yourself with a free personalised arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Hospital Research Home Lottery is giving you the chance to win the ultimate early bird prize. This fully furnished Scott Salisbury home in the heart of the city's East End could be all yours, but you've got to get in early. Plus, your tickets stay in the draws for over 17,000 prizes, including the grand prize home in Glenelg that comes with $1 million cash. With less than 2 weeks until the early bird deadline, there's no time to waste. Get your tickets today.
School of Rock, the musical. Seen by millions worldwide, Andrew Lloyd Webber's multi-award-winning global smash lands in Adelaide March 20. 4 weeks only. Book now at Bass.
Convicted drink drivers get a police record for at least 10 years. Imagine what that could do to your job prospects when it pops up at a police check. Ouch.
2 men armed with samurai swords have stormed a petrol station in Sydney, robbing a hard-working father of 3 of his day's takings. The owner only bought the business a month ago and has been working 7 days a week trying to build it up.
It is definitely a loss because that's
obviously pays nearly a week and a half wages.
Police say it was a violent and well-planned operation. An arsonist is on the run tonight after torching a home in the northeastern suburbs. The devastated owner had been renting it out to a family in need, but the property will now have to be demolished.
Smashing through the windows, flames rip apart the front of the Martin property. The family of 6 who were in the process of moving out weren't home when fire took hold in the early hours. The thick smoke wafted down Grigg Street, alarming neighbours.
A lot of smoke because the smell was quite... I was coughing because it was actually quite dead.
It was scary to see. It was so close.
Fire crews were able to quickly get on top of the inferno that was started in the lounge room. Investigators confirming this was the work of an arsonist with accelerant found at the scene.
This is normally a peaceful, quiet neighbourhood, so yeah, hopefully it will be just a one-off.
Neighbours say the tenants packed up most of their belongings on the weekend. The devastated owner of the property arrived to assess the damage this morning. The owner says the tenants were moving interstate and he was planning to find new ones, but now the home will have to be demolished.
I feel sorry for them. You take that risk of putting people into your home and you get left to clean up the mess at the end of it.
Callum McPherson, 7 News.
A wild police chase in the US turned into a dangerous rescue mission when a car flipped and caught on fire with 2 teenaged girls inside. Police weren't sure if the occupants were armed as they lowered an officer through the window to get them out. The teens hit a concrete barrier while trying to escape and became airborne. Both were pulled free and taken to hospital. Riot police have broken up a memorial in Hong Kong, moving in after they declared it an unlawful assembly. Hundreds had gathered to pay tribute to a student who died during last year's protests. They ended up in a standoff with police who threatened force if the crowd didn't disperse. Back home, most expectant mums and dads worry about getting to hospital before their baby arrives. A Melbourne couple managed to make it to the front door, but not much further.
A hospital foyer becomes a delivery room. Little Anderson Casson just couldn't wait to come into the world.
It's an epic story.
Mum Julianne Longano made it to the hospital lift, but no further.
We're giving birth right here, right now, in the foyer.
She had been at home with husband Trent when contractions began and rapidly escalated.
A minute apart, contractions a minute apart, which you know from the movies you should be in the hospital by then.
Julianne struggled to get to the car, at times on her hands and knees.
My eyes were bulging out of my head and I remember thinking, I've stuffed this up. I've stuffed this up.
Her obstetrician arrived with moments to spare.
The head was already just emerging right at that moment and I turned up right then.
There was no privacy here for Julianne. Several times during Anderson's birth, the lift doors opened and unsuspecting members of the public were met with a sight they'll never forget.
People's faces was like, they're just completely in shock. You don't expect a lift to open and see a woman with a head popped out.
And the hospital CCTV was recording it all.
That's very special to have that moment captured.
Paul Dowsley, 7 News.
Hello, babe.
Still to come on 7 News, crucial evidence about the disappearance of William Tyrrell called into question. That story next. A major international sporting event cancelled over coronavirus fears. And has Uber gone to the dogs? Plus an alarming rise.
Marco, what are you doing here?
Would you forgive your brother if he tried to steal your wife?
I'm not here to make trouble.
Then why are you here?
To finally heal this rift.
I've had the night to think about it and I thought I might get in touch, yeah.
I don't think I can make myself any clearer. You're not welcome here.
I'd appreciate your support.
Why would I help you?
Ben and I haven't always seen eye to eye.
Because the last thing I wanted to do, Ben, there's something I wanted to tell you for the past 20 years, is tell Ben that we slept together.
Home and Away, this week on 7.
When you update your home's air conditioning, you'll want air that saves energy. A lot of energy. Keep watching.
The Toyota Corolla comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as an 8-speaker JBL sound system. Okay, I can take a hint. Turn on the fun with Toyota Corolla. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
%54 of us have run out of the extras benefits we use most, and we think that's 100% wrong.
Stefan?
So at Health Partners, we're doing health insurance right. Our members get more generous benefits. More, even more. From unlimited general dental and optical to physio you can use every month.
Oh, you've got magic hands, Stefan.
Health Partners, health insurance done right.
King is a story of legacy, quiet lines of elegance, bending gravity, trimmed with wonder, and tailored with grace. Life's stories are told on a King.
Escape to a better home loan. With great rates like this and home loan specialists you can trust, People's Choice can help set you free. Call 13 11 82, visit us in branch or online.
Take me with you! Come on.
Update your home's air conditioning and save a lot of energy. With Mitsubishi Electric. Works for me.
An alarming rise in crime's been linked to savage budget cuts. The opposition says car thefts are up 24%, with aggravated robberies even higher. It's pointing the finger at a $38 million cut to the police budget.
If you want to have a safer community, you invest more in police services, not less. You invest more in community safety programs and not less.
The government's accusing Labor of cherry-picking the stats, saying it's putting more cops on the beat. Crucial evidence about the disappearance of William Tyrrell has been called into question at the inquest into his death. A New South Wales court heard that a toddler seen in a Spider-Man suit on the day William vanished might have been another boy.
Ronald Chapman is in his 80s, eloquent, good eyesight, and says he has no doubt.
You're absolutely 100% sure it was William you saw?
Sorry, I'm not giving any interviews on it.
He had just told the inquest for a second time, I'm sure it was William Tyrrell in the vehicle the morning of September 12, 2014. Mr Chapman insists he saw William in the back of a fawn-coloured car travelling with a blue one near Kendall. Enter Kelly Lee.
I'm just happy to do what I can to help, I guess.
Her son was a year older than William, similar features, used to wear a Spider-Man suit. She drives a blue car and would regularly drive past Mr Chapman's home.
Is there any possibility, sir, that it might have been the Lee boy that you saw?
Counsel assisting Gerard Craddock kept challenging Mr Chapman on his timelines when he first found out a boy had gone missing, at what point he told friends about what he had seen. He also asked him how he could be so certain it was a woman driving the fawn-coloured car, to which Mr Chapman replied, I don't see too many people who cross-dress in Kendall. Debbie Jones also confirmed today her ex-husband, convicted child sex offender Tony Jones, had lied to her about his whereabouts the morning William disappeared. The last stage of the inquest is set down for 2 weeks. From counsel assisting, it's an appalling thing that we still have no certainty as to what became of a 3-year-old simply playing in a garden. In Taree, Robert Ovadia, 7 News.
The coronavirus emergency has plunged Italy into crisis, claiming more than 130 lives in a single disastrous day. It's left the nation's health system on the brink and 16 million people in lockdown.
Italy's health system on the brink of collapse. 133 new deaths in just one day. 16 million people ordered into quarantine. The fashion and finance capital, a ghost town.
Preghiera dell'Angelus di oggi.
The Pope prayed for those suffering via video link from inside a closed Vatican, while off San Francisco, growing frustration for thousands of passengers, including 4 Australians, still trapped on the virus-hit Grand Princess.
And we could see the Golden Gate Bridge this morning, and we actually could get cell service on our phones. So yeah, so close, so close. Very frustrating.
At least one passenger was medically evacuated off the ship today, but finally, hopeful news.
Agreement has been reached to bring our ship into the port of Oakland.
Set to happen tomorrow. The captain has warned that even once the Grand Princess is able to dock here, the process of getting everyone off board will take days. Passengers and crew then face weeks in quarantine, even if they're not showing symptoms. American passengers will go into isolation on military bases, foreigners sent home on charter flights, as coronavirus claims another event. Tennis players, including Australian Ash Barty, are already in California for the Indian Wells tournament. It's now one of the most high-profile sporting events cancelled. In Oakland, California, Amelia Brace, 7 News.
The personal data of more than 300,000 Australian Facebook users has been put at risk. That's the allegation of the Australian Information Commissioner, who's launched legal action against the social media giant in the federal court. The information was at risk of being used for political profiling purposes and by other third parties. Still to come on 7 News, a man killed and a horse injured. Find out what happened on this desolate stretch of road. Cover Girls with a Difference, the new clothing line designed for women with disabilities. And Twinkle Twinkle Beating Star, scientists make an out-of-this-world discovery.
You're turning a dog into a cat. Cat.
Will it be a catastrophe? Or pooch perfect? Family Fun Thursdays.
Oh my God!
Rebel Wilson's
You still got it.
Pooch Perfect. Thursdays 7:30 on 7.
Bread is a part of life, so why not make life poppier, crustier, pumpkinier, down to the very last crumb. Abbott's Village Bakery. Every bit better.
Avoid termites eating away at your home. Call now for 20% off a visual termite inspection.
No worries with the team from Murray's.
Been to Woolies.
Get your Woolies worth on thousands of prices dropped across the store, like Huggies Jumbo Ultra Dry Nappy Pants, just $25 each.
That's why I pick Woolies.
Nivea Q10 Power, Australia's #1 anti-age day cream, contains natural Q10 identical to the one made by your skin to visibly reduce wrinkles. Nivea Q10 Power, 100% skin identical, 100% you.
Get ready for the drop! Wait for it! Yes! Wait for it! One more time.
The trolls are back.
These other trolls aren't like us. They sing different. They dance different.
Respect. All our differences make the world a richer place.
Trolls is trolls.
Trolls is trolls. Wow. Deep.
Trolls World Tour.
Gloss black grille, 19-inch black alloy wheels, panoramic sunroof, and more. New Sorrento Black Edition. From $48,990 drive away.
How did you know about this?
I have my sources.
How did you know about this?
Let RAA's travel experts put together an amazing holiday for you.
Keep on moving on.
After a long, hot day, there's only one thing you want: the comfort of home, the home of kicking back. Gasworks have everything to make your home cool and comfortable this summer. Gasworks, the home of comfort. At Freedom, customise a sofa that makes it more you with thousands of combinations. Plus, enjoy 25% off our customisable sofa range. On now. No one knows sofas like Freedom.
It's been a bittersweet day for Adelaide Cup-winning trainer Danny O'Brien. One of his track riders has been killed in what appears to be a freak morning accident. The rider and the horse he was on were struck by a car on their way back from a beach session at Barwon Heads near Geelong. The driver of the car and the horse sustained minor injuries. Shopping can be hard for many of us, but imagine having Parkinson's, arthritis or being in a wheelchair. A Brisbane woman has created a line of clothing with no fiddly trims that's to get on and off with dignity.
Easy, breezy, beautiful. CoverGirls forgotten by fashion until now.
Buttons are a nightmare for me these days. I've had 2 dresses for 6 years and I alternate them daily.
Tracy Jackson shoots bullseyes for Australia's shooting team, but she can't wear a skirt or most pants because zips and low waists don't suit muscular dystrophy or wheelchairs.
They're Velcro on the bottom, which it stops any of the pants legs getting caught in anything.
The clothing line is called Christina Stevens, organic, sustainable, Australian-made and inclusive, like wide necklines, so 84-year-old Doreen, who has arthritis, can slip on shirts. There are open backs to retain privacy when help is needed to change and discreet pockets for catheter pouches. The label was created by Jessie Sadler after her mother had a fall.
Was pretty amazed at the limited options that there were for modern fashion-forward women that were living with these issues.
She's launched Unique Women, Unique Stories, a call for action in Australia's $28 billion fashion industry. Erin Edwards, 7 News.
We've all seen twinkling stars, but astronomers have now discovered a pulsating star in the Milky Way, 1,500 light years away. It's too far to photograph, but this animation shows how it beats or oscillates according to the gravitational pull of a nearby red dwarf. It's the first to be discovered, but researchers are sure there are more out there. Well, it seems Uber is going to the dogs. The rideshare company's trialling Uber Pet, allowing you to take your best furry friend with you. It's being trialled in Sydney and Brisbane before being rolled out nationally. But there is a catch. It'll cost an extra $7 a trip. 7 News has obtained shocking vision showing the moment a callous crook stole a mum's car as she rushed her child to an emergency department. Don't miss that exclusive story soon on 7 News. Now it's time for Sport with Soda, and it's going to be a busy week for the Powers medical team.
Yeah, Jane, look, they've got a couple of big guns that have got some issues to deal with at the moment, and they've got this week off before round 1 starts, so they're going to be busy for a fortnight to try and make sure these guys are right, because they certainly need them. Also coming up, the Dogs midfielder whacked with a 1-game ban for a dangerous tackle on Power midfielder Dan Houston. The bizarre reason an Aussie T20 world champ missed out on partying with pop star Katy Perry. And red-faced, a couple of Sky Blues howlers gives United the points in the Manchester derby.
He's made headlines, but he's spoken to no one. He's shocked Australia countless times, but maintained his silence. The most shocking is still to come when Ben Cousins breaks his silence. Only on 7.
Are you off to the war tomorrow?
I am.
We need to come up with some exciting activities. What about singing? Singing?
Great music, it doesn't happen when things are perfect. It happens when you care.
We should plan our funerals, you know.
It's not that big a hill, Beth.
No, really. Beats insurance. You can personalise things. Have your say.
With a prepaid funeral from Blackwell Funerals, your payment is safely held in a trust until needed.
At Coles, we believe Australia produces the best fruit and veg in the world.
Juicy Aussie white grapes, just $4 a kilo. Coles, good things, great value.
Support Aussie farmers. Buy Aussie fruit and veg first.
Seltos.
Duh.
Come on.
Once you pop, you can't stop. Pringles.
This sports report brought to you by tips.com.au, Australia's newest tipping game.
Get your dose of Britain's most delightful doctor.
Quiet! Genuine medical complaints only. I've no time for people who just want to chat.
Doc Martin, tonight on 7-2.
Hello again. Well, Port Adelaide says club doctors aren't concerned about injuries to key duo Charlie Dixon and Scott Lycett. The pair remains in doubt for the Powers round 1 clash with the Suns and are expected to have scans in the coming days. Dixon's nursing a minor groin issue, while Lycett only managed a little more than half a game against the Dogs before icing his Achilles. And Bulldog Will Hayes has been slapped with a 1-game ban for this sling tackle on Dan Houston. The players returned from their 4-day break on Thursday. Well, it was a bruising encounter as the Cats and Bombers put the finishing touches on their pre-seasons. A new Cat impressed in the blue and white, while David Zaharakis ended the game with ice on his leg as the Bombers won by 4 points.
Not quite the traditional blue and white hoops, but in his first game in Geelong colours, Jack Stephen already looks a handy addition. The former Saint showed his trademark dash as he gathered 9 disposals in the opening term. Mark Blitzarves grabbed a pre-season highlight. The blitz! A corky on the stroke of half-time, not exactly what David Zaharakis needed close to round 1. Cats captain Joel Selwood touch and go for round 1.
Mine pre-season hasn't been ideal, but I'm getting better. So it's we've got a period now of 2 weeks where I'll just keep building towards round 1, whether it's that or not. It's just I've got to go in healthy this year. So I'm feeling good at the moment.
A week and a half out from the real thing, the Bombers showed Gary Ablett no favours. Premiership Tiger Jacob Townsend another avenue to goal for Essendon with 2 first-half majors. Townsend puts it through. Both sides lifted the intensity after a scratchy first half. Flying shot for goal from Tui, not bad. Darcy Parish having a big influence ahead of his 5th season at Tullamarine. From 40 out, Darcy Parish goes bang, and this game has livened up all of a sudden at Colac. Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody landed heavily but escaped uninjured. Andrew McCormack, 7 News.
And in other games, the Kangaroos took care of the Swans by 11 points, while last night the Blues continued their concerning pre-season form with a 45-point loss to the Lions.
Former Crow Eddie Betts made a solid return in a Blues Guernsey with 2 goals, but apart from that, there weren't too many positives for Carlton. Caleb Marchbank is battling a knee injury just 10 days out from the season opener against the Tigers, and once again, the Blues were out-muscled, this time by 45 points to the Lions. The Kangaroos had the perfect final hit out before the season proper with an 11-point win over Sydney in Hobart. Nick Larkey kicked 3 goals, while Ben Brown hinted his calf injury will keep him out of round 1.
I'm actually getting an MRI tomorrow just to see how everything's ticking along, and hopefully that's all positive and we can really aim for round 1. So that's what I'm hoping for, but the reality is that, it could be round 2 or 3.
It was a fiery contest with Will Hayward reported for head-high contact on young Roo Curtis Taylor, who recovered to put his hand up for round 1 with 2 goals. And GWS star Jeremy Cameron will be free to play in the Giants season opener against Geelong, with the MRO deeming the Coleman medalist had no case to answer for over this clash with Richmond's Kane Lambert. Andrew Hayes, 7 News.
Well, celebrations for our world champion women cricketers will be short-lived. They jet off to South Africa on Sunday for a one-day series. There are a few sore heads this morning, as you can expect. The Aussies were given a rock-star reception at Fed Square after their win over India. Last night they partied in style on stage with Katy Perry, but Rachel Haynes missed out due to getting drug tested.
Oh, I don't know what happened there, but a massive stitch up with the drug testing. But I was absolutely spewing when the doctor came in and said, "Oh, how good was that on stage?"
Molly Strano is still kicking up her heels with a souvenir pair of boots from one of Katy Perry's dancers. They're having a good time, they deserve it. Now, the Aussie men's team has returned home from South Africa inspired by the women's win. Their next one-day series starts against New Zealand at the SCG on Friday. Steve Smith's captaincy ban ends at the end of this month.
Yeah, look, I'm not even thinking about it, really. I'm just playing the game and, Finchy and Payne are both doing exceptional jobs.
Any hope the Redbacks had of playing in the Sheffield Shield final is over after they lost to Victoria by 182 runs. SA was bowled out for just 216 in their second dig. Well, a perfect ride by jockey Damien Lane has helped favourite King of Leogrance win the 3,200 metre Adelaide Cup.
But the king will be crowned. It's King of Leogrance. What a win. He races away to win by 2 lengths over Good Idea, Brave and Defeat.
There'd be no reason, no matter what they set him for, whether it be a Sydney Cup or, whether they go to down to Rance and try and get him in the Melbourne Cup, there's no ceiling on him yet. He's still improving.
It's a second Adelaide Cup win for trainer Danny O'Brien. Well, Liverpool is now just 2 wins away from claiming its first Premier League title thanks to Manchester City goalkeeper Edison. He had a shocker in this morning's local derby as Man United claimed a 2-0 victory.
His clearance is hurried. Back by McTominay! Red letter day!
Former Chelsea boss Carlo Ancelotti returned to Stamford Bridge and his Everton side were thumped 4-0. And fans were chanting MVP in Los Angeles as LeBron James staked his claim for the individual honour. The Clippers tried to put him off his game, but the King had the last laugh.
James drives, layup, count it, and the foul. LeBron James putting on the finishing touches.
He's a class above. James finished with 28 points in the 9-point win. That is our look at sport, Jane. And I think the T20 women partying with Katy Perry probably just outdoes Jack Revolt partying with the Killers after the grand final for the Tigers a couple of years ago. They had them all up there. They had having
everyone except poor Rachel, who missed with a drug test.
Time of their life there, yeah. Poor thing. She would have been spewing.
As she said she was.
For sure.
Thanks very much, Soda. Stay with us after the break. The moment a thief takes advantage of a mother with a sick child. Our exclusive pictures.
And weather-wise, we're set to top 30 degrees this week. I'll be back with a look at the forecast live from Morphettville after the break.
Those firefighters are heroes.
The team that runs towards the danger. New 911 tonight on 7.
Be good for Dad.
Jump in.
Time is precious. To family, it's everything. There are moments hiding in plain sight, but all too often we miss them. At Subaru, we believe in the magic of living in the moment. Because in our life, every moment is a chance to do.
Hey, hon. Yeah? Oh, how funny. I'm in that aisle now.
Get your Woolies worth this week with great specials like half-price Nivea. Exclusions apply.
That's why I pick Woolies.
You've got a lot of living to do in retirement. Are you confident you can pay for it? Add a Challenger lifetime annuity to your retirement income and you'll enjoy guaranteed income for life, helping to cover your living costs. It complements other income sources like your super and the age pension. So like thousands of other retirees, you too can look forward with confidence. Find out more at challenger.com.au.
The Hospital Research Home Lottery is giving you the chance to win the ultimate early bird prize. This fully furnished Scott Salisbury home in the heart of the city's East End could be all yours, but you've got to get in early. Plus, your tickets stay in the draws for over 17,000 prizes, including the grand prize home in Glenelg that comes with $1 million cash. With less than 2 weeks until the early bird deadline, there's no time to waste. Get your tickets today.
Spitwater, Australia's largest manufacturer of hard-working industrial high-pressure cleaners. Spitwater carries a full range of spare parts, have qualified service technicians and fully equipped on-site service vans. Spitwater, that's what it does. 495 Grand Junction Road, Winfield, or go online.
When it comes to dealing with mental health, there's care.
You missed another meeting, mate. Everything all right?
And there's the uncommon care you get with HCF.
Hi, Daniel.
Connecting eligible members to a range of online mental health services, such as video chat with a professional.
Great session.
As Australia's largest not-for-profit health fund, we put people before profit. That's uncommon care.
Marco, what are you doing here?
Would you forgive your brother if he tried to steal your wife?
You're not welcome here.
Last thing I want to do, Ben, there's something I wanted to tell you for the past 20 years. Is tell Ben that we slept together.
Home and Away, this week on 7.
This weather report brought to you by HCF, Australia's most trusted health fund.
Seven News has obtained exclusive videos showing a calculated callous theft as a mum helped her son into a hospital emergency department. In the lowest of low acts, her car was stolen just metres from a place of care and compassion.
Stressed, a mum holds a bucket for her son seconds after arriving at the emergency department at Gold Coast University Hospital. In her panic, she left the keys in her car parked out front. Watch as an opportunistic thief strikes. The mum leaves her distressed son dashing outside as her car is driven off.
This is disgusting, frankly.
The thief drives down a dead-end road, moments later returning into view and driving off. This is the extreme obtained by 7 News under right to information. Thieves are targeting patients and staff in hospitals across the southeast, snatching wallets, phones and money. One incident has a thief stealing a wallet from a backpack while a patient is in the bathroom. A place where everyone should expect to be in safe hands, unscrupulous criminals are targeting the most vulnerable.
Zero tolerance for stealing in our hospitals, whether that's from the hospital or from other patients.
Health authorities say hospital security teams work closely with police to ensure that those that are caught are prosecuted.
We have CCTV right throughout our hospitals. You won't get away with it.
The Gold Coast University Hospital said in a statement that people should not bring valuables or large sums of money to any hospital. A warning to thieves and for hospital patients and visitors to be vigilant. Steve Titmus, 7 News.
Australia's livestock could soon be eating seaweed, with researchers on the cusp of commercialising a cow feed made from the dried superfood. It's cheap to produce and reduces methane emissions by 99%.
We're ready to go to market now. What we need is supply chain to be complete.
Not only is it good for the environment, but scientists say cows can't taste the difference. Well, let's head back to Morphettville now for a look at the weather. And Amelia, the sunshine's set to roll on this week.
Jane, it certainly is, and it's made for a perfect cup day here at Morphettville today. We're only just starting to see some high cloud push across this evening right about now. Trackside, well, it's 20 degrees at the moment, and we are starting to feel these southeasterly winds pick up a bit this evening, and they've been gusty about the hills at times today. Top temperatures were about average right across the board, ranging from 34.2 degrees at Oodnadatta to just 17.3 at Parawa. But we will start to see some above average temperatures soon once a high to the south moves away, allowing a trough of low pressure to develop about our western border. For now, that high is keeping Perth sunny and warm, up to 33 degrees there tomorrow, just 23 in Melbourne. Back home, and as that trough edges in, it could trigger the odd thundery shower over areas west of about Cooper Pedy down to Ceduna, with a shower possible near the eastern border in the pastoral districts as well. 26 is the forecast top for Mount Gambier, Victor Harbour and for Kingscote, 31 for Renmark, Murray Bridge and Kadina, 33 for Port Augusta and 26 for Port Lincoln. And after last week's rain up north, flooding is still occurring about the Diamantina River as more water makes its way over the border from Queensland. Out on metro waters, we can expect east to southeasterly winds to reach up to 20 knots south of Brighton during the morning, tending south to southwesterly around midday with seas below a metre. In the city, down to 16 degrees overnight, with those gully winds still possible tonight and in the morning. A sunny days ahead, 30's the forecast top. Looking ahead, and we're expecting a couple of warm nights midweek, staying above 20 overnight into Wednesday, then up to 32 during the day. It's a similar story Thursday, with a shower possible, maybe the odd rumble possible during the day as well. Staying in the mid-20s next weekend, but so far, Jane, I think that's a pretty good forecast for the final hurrah of festival season.
Indeed. Thanks, Amelia. Yes, just the week to go of festival and fringe activities. Now that the Adelaide Cup's out of the way, we can all get set for a rest at the end of festival season. Well, that's all the news for this holiday Monday. Thanks for your company. We'll have updates later tonight. Until then, good night.
Home and Away, brought to you by Subaru. Every moment is a chance to do.